Steve O'Hare from SCLO Consulting. Steve, we're here today to talk about the adult education budget. Tell us a bit about the background to the adult education budget and what's happened before.
Okay, so the adult education budget is one of the main levers the Department for Education has for upskilling people that are predominantly 19 plus. So this is an initiative that runs right the way across England in a variety of different forms that's designed to give people qualifications or complete learning activity that helps them to progress predominantly into either further education and or employment. So it's all about supporting people with low or no qualifications move forward in life.
Okay, what opportunities are coming now and for whereabouts are they?
Okay, so the thing with 2 or 4 years ago, actually, to be pretty precise, the adult education budget went through a significant period of change. So we hear in the news all about devolved local authorities or devolved combined authorities. 4 years ago, a whole process of devolution began, whereas combined mayoral authorities were able to have control of that budget to be able to procure skills that were specific for their areas. And there are a number of these combined authorities across England. Similarly, it's going to sound horrible, but what's left, so the areas outside of the devolved areas also have a separate budget which is managed exclusively by the Department for Education. So between now and August 2023, the non-devolved areas, so the areas that don't have a mayor or a mayor such as Greater Manchester, London, the West Midlands Combined Authority, those areas the areas outside of there will have the ability to go and re-tender for work, and that's starting in January, hopefully this coming January, for view of contracts starting in August. Across 5 other areas, so Greater Manchester, London, Tees Valley, north of Tyne and the West Midlands Combined Authority are all in the final year of their existing contracts. So they're going to get to the point where they need to re-procure work. So across a number of other areas, there'll be opportunities for organisations who want to get involved in that marketplace to be able to bid for work within those areas.
And what's the difference between devolved and non-devolved funding, Steve?
Okay, so fundamentally, it is very, very, very similar. So an adult education budget is all about, as it says on the tin, it's adult education, but it's all derived around certain types of qualification or number of guided learning hours that an individual will complete to learn something that isn't accredited, so something that doesn't have a qualification at the end of it. The key difference between devolved and non-devolved is, well, in the non-devolved areas, everything is the same. So if you're in Leicestershire or if you're in Nottinghamshire, actually fundamentally that pot of money is the same. You can do the same things with it in those areas. When you get into the non-devolved areas, into the devolved areas, get my words right, and the devolved areas, they can actually pick and choose a little bit more of what they want. So actually they have a slightly different ask from each area. So what you would do in a non-devolved area to a devolved area, you'd need to tailor your service offer to actually meet the needs of that locality even more so than you would in the sort of like the wider picture.
Okay, and what's the size of the funds available? What are we talking about?
Oh, it's fairly substantial. So across England, the adult education budget as a whole is 1.5 billion a year. So it's quite a lot of money, to say the least. In terms of procurement activity, it varies from area to area. So for the non-devolved part that's been let, that's £70 million per year. And then in each of the combined authorities, they have a varying amount of monies dependent on the size of the area. So Greater London actually is bigger than the non-devolved area in terms of its budget, but it's a substantial amount of money that is available for organisations to tender for.
Okay, and what sort of timelines are we looking at? And just very briefly, any tips for people who are looking to get involved?
Yeah, sure. So the time is pretty much now. So the combined authorities will, over the next 3, 4, 5 months, start to come to market because new contracts need to be in place by the 1st of August next year. So therefore it's starting to happen now. Everyone will work on a slightly different timeline. We'll have a slightly different approach to the way in which they're going to go and procure things. In terms of tips, bear in mind who you're bidding for. So in some of the videos that I've done before, we talk about understanding your buyer, understanding what your buyer wants, and this is very much the case with this. So what the Department for Education want, or what their key drivers are, may be slightly different from, say, what the North of Tyne want. So actually what we need to do is make sure that we fully analyse the specification that we're given, we look at what they want to buy, and then give the buyer what the buyer wants.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Steve.